Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. I really do like having you guys here. You have no idea. If you're new here, my name is Letabo, and on this channel we shine light on some of Africa's social issues. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation between Itumiling and Damilola, because I think that it is really an important conversation that we all need to join in. I did tell you that this is going to be a two-part video, and in this one I am in conversation with the amazing Thandokazi. She tackles different things such as the importance of saving, the importance of investing in your future and the future of your children. She also talks about clothing accounts, access to credit, and the works. I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy this video and also that it impacts you in a positive light. Please enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and also to have that conversation in the comment section. I love you guys, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye. Mwah. Thandokazi, thank you so much for joining me and for saying yes to this interview. I am really honored to meet you. I have been following you for a while, and this is such a blessing for me. I am so grateful that you were like, yeah, let's do this. Thank you very much. Also, before we start, I just want you to tell me about yourself. Who are you? I know that you have TK's Financial Corner, but I think there's obviously more to know about you.
Thank you so much, Litabo. Thank you so much for inviting me into your space. Really appreciate it. I thought, you know what, let me just set this day aside. It's a Saturday. We've got a lot of things to do. But you know what?
Definitely.
I think collaborations are important. In our days, there's nothing that's going to beat collaboration. If we collaborate and we work together, we're definitely going to, go somewhere. Okay, so let me introduce myself. Okay, well, my name is Thandokazi Tese. I'm a financial content creator, so that's basically, what I do. So on all my social media platforms, it's TK's Financial Corner. And when the whole thing started, I was so scared because finances, it's not a popular topic. It's not like going on TikTok and dance. It's not like going on TikTok and share cooking recipes that everybody's gonna jump on and and love what you're gonna be talking about. It is such a sensitive topic. And for me, I felt like, what even my surroundings are going to say, the people that know me, they're going to be like, ooh, this one thinks she's better or she knows better,
Yeah.
So for me, it was not easy to start. It was really not easy to start. But here we are today. We're sitting here because I started. So
Definitely.
So that's basically what I do. I'm an entrepreneur as well. Once you start something, many ideas and many, visions, they start dropping into you, so you then start expanding, you start, doing a multiple of things. So yeah, I think that's basically what I'm all about.
Wow. I really love the fact that you even talking about when you first started TK's Financial Corner, because that was going to be my next question. I think if there's anything, like, you have been such a blessing to a lot of people, to me in particular, because I started watching you on TikTok, I think about somewhere last year. And I actually started watching you on TikTok somewhere last year when like things were just not really going well for me, like financially. And I remember like binge watching your videos. And I think that I speak for a lot of people when I say that you have been like an inspiration for a lot of people to start investing, start saving money, striving to get out of debt and all of that. And so my next question would be, why did you start TK's financial corner? What was that thing that said, you know what, you could actually do this?
Yeah, thanks, Litabo. That's a very, important question. So for me, I felt the need to share the knowledge that I have. I felt the need to help others, also succeed in their own, financial corners, in their own financial
Mm,
spaces, be it that person is about to retire, that person is a youngster that have just started working. They just don't know, they do not have a clear direction where and how to put their money into, the stock market as well, when you're going to talk
yeah.
about investing. And another sensitive topic that I felt like people really really need to be saved, it was debt.
Yeah.
People are in debt, Letabo. People are drowning in debt. So for me, I saw that, I sat down, and then I was like, okay, I think I've mastered this in my own personal capacity, in my own corner, in my own little space. But what about
Yeah.
other people that I see out there, starting even with the people that are close to me, my family members, always borrowing money. They don't have money. A week after payday, they're out of money. And now you're sitting here, you must always be, a Superman for these people, because they're always coming
Yeah.
and running to you. So for me to start, those were the things that really triggered me, to say, no, man, people are going through a lot out there. We might see
Yeah.
Litabo driving an Audi, the latest. We might see Litabo staying in a very beautiful apartment, and nobody speaks to Litabo or knows exactly what Litabo is going through financially. We
Yeah, that is
all,
true.
being inspired by the materialistic things that we see. So for me, when I realized that, and when I picked that, I was like, no, 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 no. People actually are portraying a false life, the lifestyles
Yeah.
that we live. And for me, that was a wake up call. And the fact that I was scared to even start, because I felt like I'm going to be diving into people's spaces. And this is a very, very uncomfortable things to even talk about. But you know what? Immediately when you start, the very same people that were around you, that you thought they've got it all figured, they are the first ones to come to you running. So that was that was so like, really, what's happening now? These people, I thought they've got it all figured out. so
Yeah.
so that's what made me to really start, is to see people suffering. And then I thought, no, I can't sit here and keep quiet while I know something, and I feel like the little knowledge that I know or that I have can change somebody's life out there.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful, Thandokazi. Like that is really beautiful. And I'm just sitting here thinking about how, financial literacy is not really taught in our schools, and you know, no one actually, even in our families. I mean, growing up, I do not remember having any lessons about, you know, this is how to save money, or you have to manage your money, or you know what I mean, like you have to invest money or anything like that. None of that. And even in our schools, and personally I think that that is what life orientation class should be about, but no one actually is thinking that this is what we're supposed to learn as young people. I mean, I feel like in primary, in high school, even in our universities, this should be prioritized, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, definitely. That's very true, Letabo. I think we get to be taught everything else in school, from primary to high school up to university, but they don't prepare us for real life problems, money
Mm,
decisions that we have to take.
yeah.
Once you step out of university, you're now a graduate, you get that first job. Even after grade 12, you decide you're not going to university, you're just going straight to the working world. The first paycheck that you get, nobody has prepared you for that.
That
Literally
is
no
true.
one, even your
That is so
mother,
true.
even your father at home, nobody prepares you for that big money that you're not used to receiving. Now
Yeah.
there it is in your bank account.
You
Nobody
get the money and
prepares
you're
you
like,
for
oh my
that.
God, I'm rich.
And you go crazy, and
Yeah.
we all know I blew it, the TV series says I
Oh
blew it.
yeah,
And you go
definitely.
crazy and you blow that money, and you open, a can of worms for yourself by taking lots of debts. And nobody has
Yeah.
taught us about that, that one clothing account, for example, is enough. One credit card is enough. You don't need two, you don't need three, you don't need five
Oh
clothing accounts.
yeah.
It's a
So true.
TFG group, Litabo Bati. You have one for each store. Like, that's crazy.
Oh my God. It's so funny you said that, because, and I guess that ushers us into talking about credit, right? I will tell you like a story. So I have always been like, so growing up, I remember seeing my mom when she started working. Like my mom started working while I think I was in like grade 7, going to grade 8. And when she started working, I remember her getting like clothing account because she had me and my brother, and like she was starting to get clothing accounts. And I mean, I'm sure she also didn't have any financial preparation. No one prepared her for like the fact that, hey, you're going to start getting money, and she had been unemployed for so long. Now she was getting clothing accounts. I remember her getting, I think, a clothing account at Edgar's, at Boschini, at Woolies, and it came to a point where you could definitely see that these were too much for her now, and there was like always late payments, and like being behind and all of that. I hope my mom doesn't kill me for putting her business in for everyone to know. But I feel like, and obviously with time, I remember how she then started to pay up and close them, and she was just like, you know what, I'm done. But I think that also became such a like it just became such an issue for me, in a way that I was like, I don't want to have debt.
Mm,
So I always felt like I didn't need debt. But when I started working, and I think I wanted to get internet, I wanted to get Wi Fi, and I was told, oh, you don't have credit. I was like, what? So I can't get Wi-Fi because I don't have credit? Come on. And for the longest time I was like, no, I'm not getting credit, because I think for me it was a trauma from,
mhm,
like just learning from my mom. But I was like, no, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. And even when I did finally decide that, what, let me just try, I was still very timid. I still am, actually. I'm still very timid to like even go into a store and get things and be like, okay, I am paying. But I'm just like, no, I cannot. So I feel like I still need some financial literacy, actually.
yes. So the issue of credit is very tricky, Litabo. It's very, very tricky, like what you've just said now. You want credit, and they said, no, but you don't have profile, you don't have a history of credit, therefore we
Yeah.
can't give you credit. So
Yeah.
so there's a saying that says you must have credit to get credit, and I think that's where
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that's where we get it wrong, because you get that first clothing account, Litabo, and you just spend it recklessly, you don't pay it, you have missed the payments, and 2 years down the line, you need credit again, say you want to buy a car now, and they pull your
Yeah.
record and they're like, unfortunately we can't, trust you with our money because you were not, consistent and behaving well with just a clothing account that
Oh
had a credit
yeah.
of 2,000 rands maximum.
Yeah.
Now you want us to borrow you 200,000 rands. How are we going to trust
Mm.
you with such a big money if you
True. That is
you were
so
not
true.
trustworthy with a 2,000 rands clothing account?
That, yeah, definitely. That is so true. And like, I guess this also brings me to my next question, because in preparing for this, I remember reading an article that was talking about people, black people in particular, who are born into poverty, have a difficult time moving up in their income, right? And this apparently is linked to various reasons, like your education, your workspace discrimination. But something else that I found really interesting, and I wanted to talk about this, was access to credit. I mean, I am just thinking to myself, there are so many disadvantages already, against the Black community. But thinking about credit, I'm just like, shouldn't you just like give, or let us have access to credit to be able to help ourselves go a step up, maybe? But obviously, you would probably have a different perspective because of your financial background to say, but I can't trust you with that, you know.
Okay, so the issue of getting credit and access to credit is really, really, tricky, more especially with our background, the people of color. It becomes sometimes really difficult. And there's a whole lot of stories or articles that we've read about that, even on the issues of interest rates that we get, compared to the other people as well. But then I think
Yeah,
we also need now to be taught, or we need to teach ourselves as well, that you build that profile for yourself. I can have a
yeah.
good profile, and then I can get the same interest rates or the same treatment that Chantal is getting from the bank. So
Wow.
so you
Wow.
build that for yourself. You build that for yourself, and we need to be taught, Litabo, that you negotiate. We need to be taught
Mm,
that you
yeah,
negotiate with a credit provider. Number two, when you feel like you're not going to be able to meet your agreement that you've made with them, you're not going to be able to stick to the terms and conditions of the contract, you are the one that should pick up the phone and talk to the creditor. Tina, we are used to run around from them, not
oh
answering those
yeah, that is
private
so
calls.
true.
Yes,
That
that's
is
what
so
we are used
true.
to. We've been taught that, we learned that from our parents even, but I think we need to change the narrative now. We really need to change the narrative. If you
Yeah,
know that really
definitely.
you can't keep up, pick up that phone call, call the credit provider. Number two, if we go and apply more, especially when we applying for these big assets or big finance, we need to learn to be able to negotiate with them. Tell them, listen, I know that my credit score is good, I know that I can afford. You put all your valid reasons on there. I've got side hustles that I'm doing. I'm going to be able to settle this account within a space of 6 months. Therefore, can you give me this specific interest rate? That is very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, I didn't even know that you could actually negotiate your interest rate. This is such an eye opener for me, and I hope that it is an eye opener for like a lot of other people, just to know that, like, you have to build yourself up to be able to be trusted with money, you know what I mean? And thank goodness for people like you. I think people should definitely follow you so that they get their lives in order. And something else that I found really interesting, actually, I watched this video of yours a while back, and I think you had a piggy bank for your daughter, right? And like you were teaching your daughter how to save. And I think I'm just migrating this conversation to like saving. You know, since we are not being taught at school, and it is not like it is not a conversation that we also have in our families and everywhere else, how important is it for us to cultivate a saving culture for our young ones, like our 10-year-olds, our 5-year-olds, even, and those that are in high school right now, and those that are going to varsity?
Mhm, mhm. Little the culture of saving, yeah, the culture is really important. And I think the earlier we start, or any parent out there starts, teaching that culture to their little ones, the better. Rather waiting until it's too late. With us, nobody taught us anything when it comes to saving money. You figured it out
Yeah,
your own way, when you started
true,
working
yeah.
and you joined stockfields and whatnot, because you're trying to
Yeah,
save money. But there was no proper guidance, that we got from anybody. So as parents, or aunts, daddies out there, uncles out there, I think we need to play a role into teaching the little ones. I love the
so
idea
true.
of a piggy bank, hence my daughter has one. It's December now. I was actually asking her that, when are we opening your piggy bank for this year? So she's like, no, let's do it Monday the 5th. I was like, oh, you even know the dates, girl. She's like, let's do it Monday the 5th. So we're gonna be
Yeah,
opening it. We're definitely gonna be sharing the video of how much she has managed to save in that piggy bank. This year's one, it's a much bigger one compared to the previous year. So I'm really looking
yeah,
forward to find out how much we managed to save in there. So we can teach the little ones, starting off with those piggy banks, making sure that if there's a change from the store, we don't say, no, go buy a chocolate, go buy, a
yeah,
Skittles for yourself, go buy, a yogurta and all of that. We just teach them,
yeah,
even if it's a 1 rand litabo, a 1 rand litabo, you teach them that you must think first about putting something in your piggy bank. I think that is very,
so
very
true.
important. And there are, also, nice books that we can get for them, especially if they're already able to read. They're like in grade one, grade twos. I do get the books that are child friendly for her to even read. And you can see the excitement on her face as well when she reads about
Wow.
this other one that she loves to read. The child in there wants to buy a sneaker, and her mom said, you need to do some chores so that you can get, some few rands and save those.
Wow.
So those are
Yeah.
the little things that we need to start doing when it comes to teaching the little ones on issues of saving money.
Wow, I love that. I also love the idea of books, just being able to like open their mind and actually explore their mind, and teaching them that, hey, this is like an important part of your life, because I think we think that everything else is an important part of our lives, and spending money. I don't know, it's like we know that money is important, but we do not like in terms of spending and just getting it, but we do not know that it is important in terms of multiplying it and trying to make sure that it is not just from work to the shop and then we wait for another salary, you know what I mean? So that is really important, and I think it is like lovely the fact that you do that for your daughter while she's still so young. And still talking about your daughter, I know that I've seen some videos also where you talk about her investment portfolio, and you would be like, oh, my daughter just got dividends from this company and all that. I am not a mother yet, but I would love to have children, and I'd love for them to, you know, grow up to have their money one day that will take care of them when I cannot. how do you even go about it? As I mean, first of all, I think I should have asked you first, how do I go on about investments? But since we're talking about your daughter, the question would be, as a parent, anyone who's watching right now, and they like, I want to invest in the future of my children, where do they even start?
That's a very important question, because we really don't want to raise, kids that are not going to have any sort of, inheritance from us. We need to start, sowing a seed into their future today, now.
That's true, yeah.
So as a parent that is watching this, conversation, I think immediately when they get born, it's important for you to start putting something away for them. It doesn't matter if it's
Mm,
100 rand on a monthly basis, or 50 rand, or 150 rand, whatever you can afford at that particular moment. That's what you should be putting away. Okay, because there's another narrative that we have, Litabo. When we talk about investment or investing money, people think of 1,000 every month. Someone thinks of a 5,000 rand every month. They think of a
yeah,
20,000 rand every month. It's not the case. It's absolutely not the case. It's the total opposite. It's the total opposite. With our easy equities, Satrix, Ellen Gray, those are the institutions that I always refer to when I talk about investing money. Those are the
yeah,
institutions that really, are flexible, and they have such a conducive environment for anyone, be it an adult or a child, but to be able to start your investment journey with what you can afford. So as parents, it is really, really important to start that investment journey today. Be it you're going to be putting the money into unit trust, you're going to be putting the money, into just individual stock or individual shares.
yeah.
That's what is important. Let's get the ball rolling, parents. We have to start today.
Wow. I really like that. And you talking about easy equities. So after I had been watching you and like a few videos in, I was like, I need to open an easy equities account. I'm going to download it and just um, put in my profile and all that. And I decided to do that. But here's the thing, and I think that is something that a lot of people may be going through, right? You go onto Easy Equities and you see so many companies, and you're like, okay, what, where do I start? Which companies should I go for and buy shares in? And how do I make that decision? You know what I mean? I think the first video that I watched of you actually was of you had this video and you were like, guys, do you remember when Capitec shares were like 2 rand and now they're so expensive? Think about ARC as well, you know? And I was like, okay, I think that's where I should start. But I think that everyone might go on easy equities and they see all these companies. You see a lot of companies that you're familiar with, where you buy your groceries, where you buy your clothing maybe, or that just different companies. And you are like, do I buy because I know them and I buy groceries from them and I like them, or what should I look for?
Yes, that's a very important question. So I think just the basic things, like from the top, is that what you need to look for is that, the reputation of this institution. This institution, it's been there for the past 40 years, it's been there for the past 50 years. So we know that ShopRite is not going anywhere. We know that
Yeah,
ShopRite is going to be there
definitely.
for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years, because that's the time horizon that you look for when you invest. You want to put your money into something that's going to exist in the next 30 years, in the next 50 years, when you are not there, where you're going to be able to leave some inheritance for your children and for your children's children. So that's number
Yeah.
one. And then number two, you just a little bit of reading, on the past performance of the company. Have they been paying their shareholders well? Have they been declaring dividends, say on a quarterly basis or half yearly basis, depending on the strategy of the company? Has there been,
Yeah.
a consistent growth of some sort in the dividend payout of this institution? So I think, those are just basic things that one can really look into, the liability of this institution versus their assets, the
Mm.
percentage of that. And from there, you are able to make your decision. And just one more thing, again, that really can help out more, especially for beginners. I always say that, look, for example, if you go on Easy Equities, there's tons of institutions that are there that we all know. But as a beginner, I like to say to those people, look for ETFs. We call them, exchange traded funds. So they are more like a basket, so you will be investing, for example, into an ETF top 40, SA top 40 ETF. So basically, that ETF has got the top 40 biggest companies in South Africa. So all your top
Mm.
40 biggest performing, they are in that basket. So the chances of you going wrong or losing your money into that investment are very slim, are very, very slim.
Mm.
99.9.9% is that ETF is going to do well. You're going to get returns on that investment. So I think that's, basically what I can say to a first time investor or a beginner.
Thank you so, so much, TK. We are like almost at the end of our video, but here's what I want to ask. Just, I'm just being naughty here and asking, which company should we look out for right now in terms of investing? If there's any like one that you would say, like I said, you were like, guys, look into ARC, and I think you guys should definitely go into it and put your money in it. What would be that one company right now where you're like, guys, put your money in it?
Okay. I think right now what I can say is that technology, Litabo, we are living in the online world.
That
So,
is true.
putting our money into, 4IR, fourth industrial, anything that has to do with tech. I think that space is really a great space for us to be able to put our money into. For example, on Easy Equities, you'll find even ETFs, which I've just spoken about now. You'll find
Yeah,
it. So for me, I'd say, ETFs that are more into technology, then people can look for those ETFs, because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket,
that is
put your
true.
eggs into, this one particular institution, and then the next thing, the market does its own things, because we all know that market fluctuates. Nobody controls it. We don't have control over it. So I think looking out for exchange traded funds, which are ETFs that are focusing more on technology, then I think we are on the right direction.
Awesome. Actually, not as you were talking, I just remembered that I forgot something that I also wanted to ask you. You know, it's, I don't know, I think sometimes as people, we think that it is easy for people that are working or people that have more money to think investments, right? And people that do not have money, or someone who is unemployed, you become really timid with your money. You know what I mean? I mean, I remember when I wasn't working and I was thinking of investments, and I was like, I'm not so sure. When I have 200 rands, I want to use it for something else. I want to buy something else. I'm thinking of problems much more than thinking about, investing it. But I think it came to a point where I was like, you know what, maybe if you have 200 rand, take $100 and just, you know, make a deposit into Easy Equities. Well, when it's there, you won't even think about it anymore. But what would you say about people, someone maybe who is like, I'm unemployed, I cannot do this, you know?
Wow. And with the unemployment rate, Letabo, in our country, it's a really, a serious problem. But, I'm always thinking of, these days, really, we can't be folding our arms and say, I'm unemployed, I just got retrenched, and you just fold your arms and sit there. One really
Yeah.
needs to be in a state of thinking about hustling. One really needs to be a program themselves to think about what's the next move, what can I do to,
Yeah.
to get something? What can I do? Because we
Definitely.
can't
Yeah.
really wait upon government to get employment. We can't
That
wait
is
upon
true.
anybody. If we don't push something to get something, nobody's going to do it for us. But I think this question that you're asking is similar to someone saying that I have debt, I've got this money, should I invest or should I pay debt? That's the other question. And for me, I always say, if you have debt, um pay the debt. If you have the means and you have the money, pay debt and then focus on investing thereafter. So with the question that you've
Yeah.
just asked, someone that is really unemployed, they have bare minimum on their table. I think what is important first is for you to, whenever you get, whatever amount of money that you get, think of ways to multiply that money instead of thinking
Yeah.
of chowing that money and finishing it and then start the cycle all over again. How can I multiply this 350 that I just got from president, to get something more, to get a 700 rands out of that 350,
Yeah.
so that tomorrow you are able to say, okay, I've got an extra 50 rands that I can be able to put on easy equities.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Thandokazi. This has been such an educational conversation. And like, I really hope that everyone else that watches it feels the same way, and they just get their finances in order. I'm so grateful that you have been able to do this. And yeah, just thank you for giving me your time on a Saturday.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Letabo. Till we meet next time.
Yeah, we will definitely meet again next
Yes,
time.
we have
And
to.
hopefully by that time, my portfolio will be looking brighter and brighter.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you, Letabo. Bye.